Thank you, Harsha. And decided to put the foot on the accelerator. And now plenty of work to do for Glenn McGrath. No ball to start proceedings, and Jeffrey, a real chance for these two young Indian batsmen to spend 4 or 5 hours at the crease if they're good enough and really get India in a position to kick Australia out of the game.
I think what they've done well this morning is to occupy the crease. Ganguly had a big rush of blood and should have been stumped. We've all seen that opportunity go begging. But since then, he's settled down. I'm sure Nayan Mongia had a little chat to him and said there was no need for it. What they are doing is occupying the crease, making the Australians stay out there a long time. But I think from Australia's point of view, they've done quite well. They realise they haven't got the match winner, Shane Warne, with them. So what they are trying to do is deny the Indian batsmen runs, put them under pressure and hope that they'll make a mistake or two. This is not a pitch for seam bowling. And when Shane Warne's not playing and Tim May retired, their strength is their seam bowling. But it's not a good pitch to be bowling seamers on. All you can really do is pressure the batsman. You can't really bowl too many wicket-taking deliveries.
And as Jeffrey mentioned, no Shane Warne, of course. Mark Waugh coming off a first-class career best last week of 6 wickets. Hasn't been used, and 37 overs have been bowled by the Australians, so that's a little bit unusual that Mark Waugh hasn't been used.
I think that's a big mistake with the Australian team selection. I suppose the selectors at home expected to play this one test match on a very flat pitch, probably with a bit of bounce and a good batting surface. It's turned out to be a spinner's pitch. And unless you're a leg spinner like Shane Warne that pushes it through, if you're a wrist spinner like Peter McIntyre and Brad Hogg, they're what I call slow bowlers. It's too slow for them, is this surface. No! They'd be better off with a good finger spinner with Australia to push it through. Another no ball. McGrath trying to test Ganguly's nerve with a few short balls, and he's a bit cross with himself. No good bowling short balls if they're going to be no balled by the umpire. But coming back to that point, I think if they'd have known it was going to be a slow turning pitch like this, the Australian selectors would have picked somebody from your Australian shield who was a good finger spinner, somebody to push the ball through a little bit quicker.
Well, of course, Tim May retired about 2 months ago from all forms of cricket, so that took him out of the equation, and there was plenty of speculation, Jeffrey, that the new New South Wales captain, Greg Matthews, may have been brought back into the Australian side. Of course, he played in that famous tied test 10 years ago in Madras, took 10 wickets himself. And there was plenty of speculation about Greg Matthews, but I think with just the one-off test, Australia felt exactly as you described it. Well, that's what they're trying to do, cramp him up with a short delivery by bowling around the wicket. So that last delivery was pretty good. But India 91 for 1.
Now then, Glenn McGrath, is he going to have another go at Ganguly with the short stuff? And he's learnt from before. Here's the leg gully. If he'd been in there before, he would have had a wicket. Nice thinking, eh? Ganguly had a bouncer before, probably back of his mind he's thinking another bouncer. And McGrath, very smart, bowls him a Yorker. 92 for 1. But look at that, great Yorker, terrific Yorker. Trying to outthink the batsman who might be half getting ready for another short ball. Good thinking, didn't get anything for it, but that's a bowler who's really got his mind on the job.
Umpire Venkat talking to Glenn McGrath just a minute ago was showing Glenn McGrath where his feet were landing. Most respected umpire, Venkat. In fact, both these umpires are very well respected by the players, Venkat and umpire Willie. Both former Test cricketers. And that's what he's trying to do. So very good bowling. And flush onto the chest or into the ribs.
Well, I think that will have hurt a little bit. That's hit him in the right breast. And that will have hurt. A really good ball was this. Angled well. There's no point in bowling short balls if they're not directed at the batsman. Your accuracy has got to be good. It's no good just banging it in and hoping it looks good. You've really got to be accurate, and that's a super delivery. Right into the ribs. That will have hurt, I'm telling you. What I do think is, though, that Glenn McGrath should bring one of his men out of the covers. He doesn't need 3 men in the covers if he's going to pepper Ganguly into the ribs area. I mentioned he got a leg gully. He ought to have a man at bat and pad as well. Take one of the offside men out, because he's obviously, for the moment, finding a chink in Ganguly's armoury. He's made him play it very unpleasantly. He didn't play it very well at all. Sometimes you get hit, you play the ball right, and it just misses the bat or the gloves. Sometimes you let it hit you. But here, he's in a right angle, isn't he? And where that ball bounced, I think he ought to take a man out of the offside. And I think, see, if he'd have gloved this or got a little edge, then it would have gone straight to the bat and pad man. Here it's hit him straight in the chest, and it's bouncing on a bit, right where bat and pad will be, if you see. Right there, there it is. It just pitched about here, didn't it? And I reckon that's where a bat and pad man should be. Bring one in from the offside. He didn't hit that, but you get a glove onto those when you're trying to fend the ball off. It goes straight up in the air to short leg.
2 other reasons, of course, for having the men there. The previous over, when there was no man there, of course, once he got himself into a tangle, he wasn't worried about where the ball went. But with men there, of course, if you get yourself into a tangle, you've then got to try and think about how to fend the ball away from the 2 fieldsmen. So there's also that problem that can create in the batsman's mind.
You see, there are 3 men on the offside field here. There's 3 of them. And I reckon one of these could come out. You don't need both of those 2. You need one of those, and he should go in at bat and pad on the onside, because he's obviously going to give Ganguly a going over. Maybe not every ball, but he's certainly going to get peppered a few.
Speaking to Glenn McGrath last night, he is studying to get his helicopter's pilot's licence.
Well, I won't be flying with a fast bowler, I can tell you that, Hooksy.
There's enough problems with Colin Croft in the West Indies,
Yeah.
let alone Glenn McGrath and a chopper.
Michael Holding got it right. He said when Crofty got his flying licence, he says, whenever I fly in future, I watch to see if Crofty is piloting the plane, because I'm not getting on if he is.
So I was a bit worried about Glenn McGrath last night when he started talking about the ejector seat in the helicopter. You'd have to get that one spot on between the rotor blades. Good country boy, Glenn McGrath. And certainly has bowled very well for Australia, particularly since the first test in Barbados against the West Indies last February. Very aggressive, young, fast bowler. And Venkat will speak to him again. Because one of the problems going around the wicket is that he just can't straighten himself up to get off the pitch.
Someone okay?
So I'm not sure whether there's been an official warning yet.
If there's any problem, I'll let you know.
No, I don't think there has been, David. I haven't seen Venkat. If he gives an official warning, he's got to tell the square leg umpire. Well, we think at the moment he's sort of getting near. We're not sure he's actually on. If he was on, I think he'd be creating with Venkat. But he's probably saying to him, you're getting close to the danger area.
Made an over for Glenn McGrath, 94 for 1.